Isi api apo atutu. Apollo atutu. Natasha.
Did you know there's a parrot that can weigh as much as a house cat, and another that's no bigger than your thumb? The world of parrots is absolutely bursting with variety, with nearly 400 different species, and honestly, each one has its own incredible story. From the rainforests of South America to the deserts of Australia, these super smart and colorful birds have fascinated people for centuries. So today, we're counting down some of the most amazing fun facts from across the entire parrot kingdom. Scientific classification: kingdom, Animalia, phylum, Chordata, class, Aves, clade, Psittacopaceres, order, Psittaciformes, Wagler, 1830, superfamilies, Cockatooidea, cockatoos, Psittacoidea, true parrots, Strigopoidea, New Zealand parrots. In the deep past, when the world was still taking shape, a strange and colorful lineage was preparing to rise: the parrots. Their story begins on the ancient supercontinent Gondwana, more than 60 million years ago, long before the first humans ever whispered across the planet. The incredible diversity of Psittaciformes, the order of birds that includes all parrots, hints that they may have evolved right here in Australasia during Gondwana's age. Yet, nature has kept most of their early history hidden. Fossils are rare, almost like the Earth itself wanted to keep their secrets buried. For decades, scientists believed they had found the oldest parrot fossil, a single fragment of a lower bill, just 15 millimeters long, discovered in Wyoming. It was thought to be 70 million years old, from the late Cretaceous. But later evidence told a different story. This fossil wasn't from a bird at all, but from a Kenignathid oviraptorosaur, a dinosaur with a bird-like beak. In science, even the smallest fragment can rewrite an entire history. Modern genetic studies reveal that parrots evolved around 59 million years ago after the great Cretaceous-Paleogene extinction that wiped out the dinosaurs. Back then, they were not the colorful mimics we know today, but generalized arboreal birds, lacking the strong, curved bills of modern parrots. Genomic analysis shows something fascinating. Parrots are the closest relatives of songbirds, together forming the clade Psittacopaceri. And their next closest relatives? The falcons. An unexpected family tree, isn't it? The first undeniable parrot fossils appear 50 million years ago, not in Australasia or South America, but in Eocene Europe, a tropical paradise at the time. Among them was Mopsitta tanta, found in Denmark, at first hailed as a true parrot, but later suspected to belong to an ancient ibis. Still, several complete parrot-like skeletons have been uncovered in England and Germany. They weren't the ancestors of modern parrots, but distant cousins, species that evolved in parallel, their lineages lost to time. From ancient Gondwana to the lush jungles of today, the parrot's journey spans tens of millions of years, a story written not in bones, but in feathers, genes, and echoes of forgotten worlds. These birds are more than just pretty feathers and a talent for mimicry. Their family tree is split into 4 main groups: the true parrots of the Old and New Worlds, the cockatoos, and the incredibly unique New Zealand parrots. Their intelligence is right up there with primates and dolphins, and their complex social lives and problem-solving skills still blow scientists' minds. From their wild anatomy to their surprising behaviors and the very real conservation challenges many of them face, the story of parrots is just incredible. So, get comfortable as we explore what makes these birds so captivating. From sacred altars to mythic journeys, parrots have perched not only in trees, but in the imagination of ancient civilizations across the world. As early as the Shang dynasty, nearly 3,600 years ago, jade parrots were crafted and burned in ritual fires. These offerings, known as liao sacrifices, sent plumes of smoke to the heavens, tributes to gods and ancestors. A jade parrot unearthed from the tomb of Lady Fu Hao at Yinshu still carries that ancient symbol of devotion. In the Polynesian islands, legend tells of the hero Laka, who voyaged to the distant land of Aotona, today's Cook Islands, to gather the brilliant red feathers of sacred parrots. The journey was perilous. Only a few of his 140 rowers survived, but those who returned carried feathers so precious they filled 140 bags, gifts worthy of gods and kings. Across the ocean, in ancient Peru, the Moche people worshipped birds and often painted parrots into their art, symbols of vitality, spirit, and the divine voice of nature. In Buddhist lore, the parrot appears as a messenger of compassion. One tale tells of a forest fire, and a small parrot, desperate to save its home, carrying water drop by drop in its beak. Moved by the bird's courage, the ruler of heaven sent rain to quench the flames. In Chinese Buddhist art, a parrot sometimes hovers near Guanyin, holding a pearl or prayer beads, a symbol of purity and spiritual devotion. In Hindu mythology, the parrot is the sacred mount of Kamadeva, the god of love, a messenger of desire and passion. It's also linked to goddess Meenakshi and the poet Saint Andal, both often depicted with the emerald bird by their side, a symbol of affection and divine speech. Across continents and millennia, the parrot has carried the same message of beauty, voice, and devotion, a living bridge between the earth and the divine. One of the most defining, yet totally overlooked features of a parrot is its feet. Unlike a lot of birds that have 3 toes forward and 1 back, parrots have a zygodactyl grip, 2 toes pointing forward and 2 pointing backward. This isn't just a weird quirk. It's a multi-purpose tool that's key to their entire way of life. This powerful vice-like grip makes them incredible climbers, letting them scale vertical tree trunks with an agility that looks almost primate-like. But it gets even better. Parrots are one of the only birds that can use their feet like hands. They can pick up a piece of fruit, bring it to their beak for a bite, and turn it over with amazing dexterity, all while balancing on 1 leg. Some studies even suggest that individual parrots can be left-footed or right-footed, just like humans are left or right-handed. This one feature is a cornerstone of their success, from eating and climbing to just playing around. A parrot's beak is an icon of both strength and precision. People often call them hookbills because of their curved upper beak that fits perfectly over the sharp lower one. But this is no simple nutcracker. The beak of a parrot is a masterpiece of biological engineering. For example, the hyacinth macaw has a beak so strong it can crack macadamia nuts, which have one of the hardest shells in the world, and even coconuts. But all that power is paired with incredible finesse. What makes their beak truly special is a unique joint called the craniofacial hinge. This lets the upper beak move separately from the skull, giving them a level of dexterity you just don't see in other birds of prey. And underneath that hard exterior, the tip of the beak is packed with nerve endings, turning it into a super sensitive organ for touching and exploring. Whether it's crushing a tough seed, gently preening a mate's feathers, or acting as a third limb for climbing, the parrot's beak is the ultimate all-in-one tool. When you picture a parrot, you probably think of a big, shoulder-sized macaw. And yeah, some are definitely giants, but the parrot family covers an incredible range of sizes. On one end of the scale, you have the magnificent hyacinth macaw from South America, which can be over 3 feet long from head to tail. But the title of the heaviest parrot goes to a flightless wonder from New Zealand, the Kakapo, which can weigh up to 9 pounds, as much as a chunky house cat. At the other extreme, deep in the forests of New Guinea, you'll find the buff-faced pygmy parrot. It's the smallest parrot in the world, measuring just over 3 inches long and weighing less than 10 grams, so tiny it could comfortably sit on your thumb. This huge variety in size lets different parrots fill all sorts of ecological niches. We usually picture parrots in pristine rainforests, but many species are proving to be masters of adaptation, absolutely thriving in our concrete jungles. The monk parakeet, originally from South America, is a perfect example. These resourceful birds are famous for building huge communal stick nests on utility poles, basically creating avian apartment complexes in cities across North America and Europe. Another success story is the red-crowned Amazon. There might now be more of them living in US cities than in their native Mexico. In cities like Buenos Aires, the variety of parrot species is influenced by the richness of tree species and how close parks are to water corridors. These city-dwelling parrots have learned to find new foods and nesting spots, showing off that incredible intelligence that defines the family. You can't talk about parrot intelligence without talking about the African gray, a bird that's widely considered one of the smartest on the planet. The most famous example was a parrot named Alex, who became a scientific superstar. Working for 30 years with psychologist Dr. Irene Pepperberg, Alex showed off cognitive skills that completely shattered the old.
Don't tell me, what shape? What shape? That's right. How many corners?
Bird brain insult. Alex didn't just mimic, he seemed to understand. He learned over 100 words, could identify 50 different objects, count, and tell the difference between 7 colors and 5 shapes. He even got abstract concepts like bigger, smaller, same, and different. In one famous moment, when he saw an apple for the first time, he combined 2 words he knew, banana and cherry, to call it a bannery. But maybe his most incredible moment was when he became the first non-human animal to ask an existential question. Looking in a mirror, he asked, "What color?" Dr. Pepperberg told him he was gray, and he learned the word. Alex's intelligence was compared to that of great apes and a 5-year-old child, proving parrots are capable of some seriously complex, abstract thought. Deep in New Zealand lives a parrot that just breaks all the rules. The Kakapo is the world's only flightless parrot, its heaviest, and one of the longest living birds, with a lifespan that can top 90 years. Its name means night parrot in Maori, and true to its name, it's nocturnal. With its owl-like face and waddling walk, the Kakapo is totally unique. Since it can't fly, it's an amazing climber, using its strong legs and beak to get up tall trees, then parachuting down with its short wings. Its main defense is to freeze when threatened, which worked against its native eagle predators, but was tragically useless against the mammals humans brought to the islands. This extraordinary bird is critically endangered, but thanks to one of the world's most intensive conservation programs, the population has climbed back to 237 individuals as of 2025, every single one of them named and meticulously monitored. In the bird world, it's almost always the male who gets the flashy feathers to attract a mate. Well, the Eclectus parrot didn't get that memo. This species has the most extreme difference in appearance between sexes of any parrot. For years, ornithologists thought the male and female were 2 completely different species. The male is a brilliant emerald green, which is perfect camouflage while he's out foraging. The female, on the other hand, is a jaw-dropping mix of bright red and royal blue. Her colors serve a special purpose. Females compete for the best nesting spots, and her vivid red acts like a giant vacancy sign, advertising her nest to males from a distance, while keeping her hidden in the dark tree hollow. Cockatoos are instantly recognizable by their awesome crests, but those head feathers are way more than a fashion statement. A cockatoo's crest is a direct window into its emotional state, a feathery mood ring. When the bird is calm, its crest is usually flat. A partially raised crest can signal curiosity or excitement, but a fully erect, fanned-out crest is a bold, unmistakable warning. It can mean the bird is scared, angry, or highly aroused, and it serves to make the cockatoo look bigger and more intimidating. It's one of the clearest communication tools in the animal kingdom. Ever wonder how a parrot can talk? even though it doesn't have vocal cords. The secret is a special vocal organ called the syrinx, located at the bottom of its windpipe. Unlike our larynx, the syrinx is incredibly sophisticated, allowing some parrots to produce two different sounds at the same time. Their ability to mimic human speech is really a byproduct of their natural gift for vocal learning. In the wild, parrots are very social and use complex calls to communicate. Different flocks even have their own dialects, like regional accents. Young parrots learn these calls from their family and friends, and that same drive to imitate and fit in is what lets them pick up human words with such uncanny accuracy. In their natural homes, parrots play a vital, if unintentional, role as master gardeners. As they fly around foraging for fruits and seeds, they often carry them far from the parent tree. This is called seed dispersal, and it's essential for a healthy forest. When a parrot eats a fruit and later poops out the seed somewhere else, it's basically planting a new tree, helping the forest regenerate. They're also famously messy eaters, dropping seeds all over the forest floor. This process helps plants colonize new areas and prevents overcrowding. In their messiness, parrots are shaping the very structure of the rainforests they call home. Most parrots hang out in the tropics, but the key of New Zealand is the world's only true alpine parrot. To survive in the harsh, snowy southern Alps, the key has developed a wicked intelligence and a bottomless curiosity. These birds have been seen solving complex puzzles, using tools, and even working together to get what they want. One study showed Kia can actually understand probabilities, weighing the odds to get a reward, an ability once thought to be exclusive to primates and human babies. Their intelligence is often compared to that of a 4-year-old child, but this cleverness also makes them notoriously mischievous. Kia are famous for pulling rubber seals from car windows and stealing anything not nailed down from hikers. It's all just a sign of the brilliant mind that lets them thrive where no other parrot can. Deep in the remote rainforests of New Guinea lives a parrot that looks like something out of a Gothic novel, Pesquet's parrot, better known as the Dracula parrot. This bird has a vulture-like profile with a bald black head, a long hooked beak, and a cape of black feathers that clashes dramatically with its blood-red belly. This bizarre look is actually an adaptation to its very specific diet. The Dracula parrot feeds almost exclusively on a few types of figs. That bald head keeps its feathers from getting matted with sticky fruit pulp while it eats. It's a rare and mysterious bird, and a stunning example of evolution in action. Parrots are some of the longest living birds, making them a commitment that can quite literally last a lifetime. While smaller parrots like budgies might live for 15 to 20 years, many of the larger species live for decades. Amazon parrots and African greys can live for 50 to 60 years or more. Large macaws and cockatoos can reach an incredible 80 years, and as we learned, the Kakapo might even see 90 or 100. This long life allows them to form incredibly stable, long-term pair bonds and build up a lifetime of knowledge in the wild. For anyone considering a pet parrot, it means they aren't a short-term pet, but a lifelong companion that could even outlive their original owner. In parts of the Amazon, a truly spectacular event takes place. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of parrots gather at riverbanks to do something peculiar. They eat clay. This behavior, called geophagy, puzzled scientists for a long time. The leading theory is that the clay is a natural medicine. Many of the seeds and unripe fruits parrots eat contain toxins. The clay particles bind to those toxins in the parrot's gut, neutralizing them so they can pass safely through the body. The clay also provides critical minerals like sodium that might be missing from their diet. These clay licks aren't just a pharmacy, they're vital social hubs, creating one of the most colorful and noisy spectacles in nature. A parrot's vibrant colors aren't just for looking good. they hide a secret superpower. Parrots produce a unique group of pigments called psittacofulvins, which create those brilliant reds, yellows, and greens. Research has found that these pigments also have antibacterial properties. A study in Biology Letters showed that feathers containing these pigments were more resistant to a feather-degrading bacteria than feathers without them. This means a parrot's color is also a form of built-in armor, protecting the feathers that are so critical for flight, insulation, and communication. When climbing a vertical surface, a parrot uses a method so unique that scientists call it tripedalism, which just means three-footed. They use their powerful hooked beak as a third limb. When scaling a tree, a parrot will grip with its feet, then reach up, hook its beak onto the bark, and use its strong neck muscles to pull its body up. Researchers found that the force generated by the beak during climbing is equal to or even greater than the force produced by the arms of a climbing primate. This makes their beak a fully functional third foot, giving them an unmatched ability to master their treetop world. Not all parrots are built to crack nuts. Lories and lorikeets, a colorful group from Australasia, evolved for a much sweeter diet, nectar and pollen. To do this, they developed a very special tool, a brush-tipped tongue. The end of their tongue is covered in tiny, hair-like appendages. When the lorikeet sticks its tongue into a flower, these stand on end, forming a little brush that soaks up nectar. They can then pull their tongue back and squeeze the liquid into their mouth. This brilliant adaptation lets them feast on a liquid diet that's totally inaccessible to their nut-cracking cousins. The Vasa parrots of Madagascar are already a bit odd with their plain, dark gray feathers. But their breeding behavior is where things get truly strange. During breeding season, the female Vasa parrot goes through a wild transformation. She loses the feathers on her head, which turns a bright mustard yellow color. At the same time, the females become dominant, often mating with several males. While she incubates the eggs, all the males she mated with will diligently bring her food. This temporary baldness and role reversal make the Vasa parrot one of the most wonderfully weird members of the entire parrot family. For all their beauty and brains, the world of parrots is in trouble. They are one of the most threatened groups of birds on Earth, with about a third of all species facing extinction. The main threats are habitat loss and the illegal pet trade. As forests are cleared, parrots lose their homes and food sources. Their beauty and intelligence also make them highly sought after, fueling rampant poaching. Species like the Spix's macaw have been declared extinct in the wild, but there are glimmers of hope. The orange-bellied parrot's population once crashed to just 17 birds in 2016, but thanks to intensive conservation, 92 birds returned from migration in a 2024 census, a remarkable turnaround. Supporting conservation and ensuring any pet parrot comes from a reputable, captive-bred source is critical to making sure these birds don't vanish forever. And for our number one spot, we return to the brilliant mind of Alex, the African gray. Beyond shapes and colors, Alex demonstrated a grasp of one of the most complex philosophical concepts there is, the concept of zero. In tests, if you asked him how many, about a group of items, he could count them. But when Dr. Pepperberg showed him an empty tray and asked the same question, Alex eventually learned to say none. This ability to identify the absence of quantity, to understand the meaning of nothing, is a mental leap that even young children struggle with and has only been seen in a handful of animal species. It was the most profound of all his achievements, cementing the legacy of parrots as not just mimics, but as thinking, reasoning beings. The world of parrots is infinitely more complex and amazing than most of us ever imagine. From the powerhouse beak of a macaw to the genius of an African gray understanding nothing, these birds constantly challenge our ideas about intelligence. They are architects, problem solvers, gardeners, and devoted partners spread across almost every continent. Their colors paint our world, and their minds give us a peek into an intelligence that evolved on a totally different path from our own. But as we've seen, this incredible diversity is fragile, and the survival of so many of these species hangs in the balance. If you had as much fun exploring the world of parrots as I did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. What parrot fact surprised you the most? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.